Hey, this is Brent Jensen. You're listening to No Sleep Til Sudbury, the show where we talk about the music that makes your skin vibrate. And joining me from Southern California this week is Mr. Joe Daly, freelance writer and photographer whose writing regularly appears in Men's Health, Classic Rock, Metal Hammer, and a bunch of other publications across North America and the UK. And by way of his features, Joe has worked closely with Metallica, Marilyn Manson, Public Enemy, Black Sabbath, Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and loads of other artists. He is a damn fine writer and a damn fine human. Joe, welcome to the show, my friend.
Oh, thanks, Brent. It is awesome to be here with you.
It's great to have you. So we were talking before the record button went on, and fun fact, you're actually originally scheduled to appear as one of my first 5 guests on this podcast. Back in April 2017. This is episode 161. That was a little while ago.
Yeah, never give up. That's a great lesson for all of us.
Well, I am very happy that we finally made it to this point. So
yeah, likewise.
It's great to have you, Joe. Another thing that I didn't know about you until recently, you're I wanted to bring this up. You're a hockey fan down there in Southern California. Is that right?
I am. Yeah. Pretty badly affected by hockey.
So now So you're a Boston guy. You used to live in Boston, but what's the hockey scene like down in Southern California?
It's huge. It's funny. Like, obviously I grew up a Bruins fan, mm-hmm. and, then I moved to Chicago, and I hate to date myself, but, I moved there before the internet entered people's homes. So like I lost touch with the Bruins, mm-hmm. and I just kind of was more of an observer over the years. But then after moving out here, the Ducks brought an AHL team back mm-hmm. into the city, and I bought season tickets as soon as they went on sale, and so I've become kind of a psycho San Diego Gulls fan, which has made me a Ducks fan by proxy.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah, and I play a couple nights a week too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if my knees would agree with you, but it's fun.
That's cool. That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah. You're a Leafs fan?
I am. Yeah. And so, it's tense up here, the Leafs versus the Bruins, as you know.
Oh, very tense. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Bruins have the Leafs number and have been, in that position for a long time. So it's a touchy topic, Joe.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I'm not a hardcore fan, but as you can imagine, in Toronto, people are very, very serious about it. So, yeah, there's a little Leafs Bruins thing going on up here for sure.
Yeah, I probably alienated a lot of potential listeners. But...
We're a Ducks fan now, so it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Good. We'll play the Ducks angle. Go Ducks. Right. West Coast.
Go Ducks. All right, Joe, you've got some great songs here. I love this list because Kiss Strutter 78 is on it. I think that's fantastic. Yeah. So what is the deal? So these are the songs that make your skin vibrate. So Strutter 78 is one of those.
Yeah, I kind of approached these like that made my skin vibrate in a way that kind of changed the game for me. That really kind of these are all kind of poignant songs for me personally, right? Because I don't think anyone would say that Strutter is like, the number one Kiss song. But yeah, like it was around 78 that I was getting into Kiss. Mm-hmm. And that was a huge year for them because that was the year they released Double Platinum, which, is like their first of 30 compilations. Mm. And that was the year that the TV special, like Kiss Meets Phantom of the Park, came out.
That's right.
So, so it was a huge year. And for Christmas that year, my dad got me Double Platinum and Strutter is the opener. And that was like, it was just everything. Just that song opens up the album. The riffs were so big and the chorus is great. And it's just, mm-hmm. It's built for 10-year-olds air guitaring in front of the mirror.
Well, I was thinking that when I was looking at your list because that was my thing. I was 9 when this came out, and this was like my air guitar masterpiece. Like it was because it's got that rewritten solo or replayed rather, where Frelly puts harmonics in and kind of squeals those notes at the beginning, which is really cool.
Amazingly cool. And at the time I didn't I listened to this before I listened to the original Strutter, which was the debut, like the first song off of their debut album.
Mm-hmm.
And, I putting the two together, I ended up liking the original better, and I wasn't exactly sure why, but then, years later, it kind of came out that when they redid it for double platinum, they kind of put a disco kind of groove onto it.
Yeah.
To keep up with the times. And that's why they added that extra drum at the beginning and the second solo. It's, it was kind of modified to be more contemporary.
Right. Yeah. And you can hear the hi-hat and, it's got that disco treatment for sure.
Big time.
I had read somewhere that Paul Stanley was not a big fan and he didn't really see the point of doing that over again. I don't know if that's true or not, but later on he had voiced his displeasure with the recording of that, or the re-recording of that song.
Yeah, it's funny. I've heard that too. He he said something like I thought it was bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can swear on this, but he was like he was thinking it was pointless, and that kind of goes in line with the whole kind of KISS philosophy that what we do at all times is the greatest thing ever and needs no explanation or improvement.
Exactly.
But what blew me away, like, and I like that when you look at that album, like that is a phenomenal compilation, and like they released their first 6 albums in 3 years.
Yeah.
And then like I think for all intents and purposes they were done. They've been milking those 3 years for the last 4 decades.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah. Those last 3 records, Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over, and Love Gun, they did put out 2 records in 1 year. Do you remember that? I think it was the last 2. Well, I like to say that Love Gun was the last album that kind of came out at their own accord, and then they kind of got lost and started, looking at concepts and other things.
Right.
Yeah.
Licensing.
Yeah. Well, that's true, right? Yeah. Oh, KISS.
But Strutter's just a classic, man. Just it's got everything you want in the song. Great chorus, great riffs, super catchy. It's awesome. Yeah,
great pick, man. Next is The Doors and The End. This is a great pick too.
Yeah, The Doors. That's when I kind of a neighbor turned me on to No One Here Gets Out Alive, and that biography, Jim Morrison bio. So I read that book before I listened to The Doors, and through that I kind of, even though it was, Jim had shuffled from his mortal coil, I was able to kind of follow that. Like I got turned on to their discography through the course of the bio. So, that debut blew me away.
Mm-hmm.
And this song, it was weird because I think this song like showed me that Brock could be more than just the stuff I was hearing on Top 40 and the KISS albums that I've been listening to. Like it could be something really provocative and not something that you want to dance to or fight to or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an epic. I guess it was really ambitious in a way that even I understood then that it was something. Put his boots on. That just like grabbed me, like just with that kind of mesmerizing organ playing in the background.
Oh yeah.
That spidery guitar work, like the sound that they conjured together is it's one of the tightest and most innovative, I think, bands of our generation.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And, apparently they did 2 takes of this song. No overdubs, nothing. It was just straight on, and I think they used the second one.
I'm not surprised. I think some of that might have been limitations by the personnel, but it's funny. Like Jim was always such a reluctant rock star, but at this point here, I think he was still, this was their debut, so he hadn't like been turned off by fame, and addiction hadn't really pulled him into the throes yet. So we really catch Jim at his most earnest, and like his southern drawl comes across in this song, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it's a long song, but it doesn't feel like it. It's totally immersive.
That's right. I agree. Yeah. Next is the Sex Pistols and Anarchy in the UK. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, what a song. What a record.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I saw it was sort of like, under Famous Last Words. I remember I was like, this came out in 77, and so it had to have been just around then. I was on a family vacation, and I saw a TV news special on the Sex Pistols, and they portrayed this image of someone throwing a pig snout on stage.
Oh.
And I was like, wow, like I am never going to listen to this crap ever. This looks terrible. Like I don't want any part of this punk rock thing. And a couple years later, there I was with my Sex Pistols t-shirt on. It's just it's funny because I think I don't really. It's hard to consider this punk. You know, I think that the attitude of the band was punk, right? And the lyrics were punk, but this is well produced, classic rock. And Steve Jones's guitar in this is just one hook after another.
Yeah, I agree. This is actually well written rock. This isn't, you think about standard punk and it's just, the musicians pride themselves on the fact that they can't play, in most cases, but this is not that. I agree with you. I've always thought that of the Sex Pistols. They
definitely, I think they get credit for, influencing people, but I don't hear them get as much credit as songwriters, and even like the drums in this, like, I don't know. I like the fact that Paul Cook throws in a fill, whenever he wants. Like, I think it's cool. And, and Johnny's vocals, Johnny Rotten, I mean, his vocals are great on this album. They're perfect for what they're trying to do.
Did you ever hear that story, Joe, about how after the Sex Pistols disbanded, I can't remember what label they were on, but Richard Branson, I don't think it was Virgin, but Richard Branson was involved in this, and he tried to get Johnny Rotten into Devo as their singer.
No.
Yeah, true.
I never heard that.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, it didn't take. Neither side wanted it to happen. But Branson brought him down to...
Wow, I can only picture how that sounded.
Oh, yeah, right? But that was a thing, and that almost happened. Imagine that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm kind of happy it didn't happen.
No, me too. I know, right?
Yeah.
Next on your list, I like this one a lot. Slayer, War Ensemble from Seasons in the Abyss.
Yeah. I mean, this for me, like I had, I was squarely in the metal camp. I thought I was in the metal camp, when I got into college, and I was listening to Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue. Dio had Dream Evil come out while I was in '87, so I was like, yeah, I'm a metal guy. And then this album came out in '90, and I graduated college, and I didn't have a job, and I was just playing rugby and drinking. Yeah. And on Friday nights, I used to watch Headbangers Ball, and I saw this on Headbangers Ball, and the video, like, this was their first video ever, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
And all of a sudden, I was like, oh, I actually haven't been listening to metal. Like, this is metal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just, you just see them, like, the heads bob, and Kerry King had hair at this time, and the technicality and the speed and just the energy of this music was unlike anything I had ever experienced. And I knew that, like, there's no turning back. Like, this is where it's at.
Oh yeah. That's funny that was your entry point. 83, I was down in the States, and I bought, I was a kid, I was like 14, and I bought Show No Mercy just because I was curious, and I bought Kill 'Em All at the same time. And loved it. I mean, but it was shocking, Joe. Like, it shocked me. You know what I mean? Just those riffs and just the sheer heaviness of it. But yeah, this is a couple albums on Seasons in the Abyss, but like it's still that riff for War Ensemble is crazy, but also the title track Seasons in the Abyss is really great too.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it really, like, that's a great point. It's like that closes the album and War Ensemble opens it, and they're two very different kind of sounding songs.
Yeah.
The title track sounds like South of Heaven, the album before that, and War Ensemble is more like Rain and Blood, and
yes.
Even then they had a lot of versatility that they weren't, I don't know if they were getting credit for it at the time, but it definitely showed that they were evolving even then.
Oh yeah, definitely. I always found that the track Seasons in the Abyss was a huge evolution for them. I don't know if you remember that video.
Yeah, I do.
They were, I don't know, it's like an Arabian kind of riding around on horses thing. It was very peculiar. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But awesome.
It's funny. I was at like an event, I guess last year, before NAMM, the big music conference in Anaheim.
Yeah.
And Jose Mangan, the Sirius FM XM DJ,
Mm-hmm.
had this like private kind of thing. They do a rehearsal the night before it kicks off, and all these metal guys go and they jam at his clothing store, and it's a really fun party. And Jeremy Wagner from Broken Hope was there,
Mm-hmm.
and he had the guitar that Jeff Hanneman played in this video.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and I got to noodle on it a little bit, and it's funny because it was just it's an iconic guitar with a little Dead Kennedy sticker on it.
Yeah.
And then when I was looking at this video again the other day, I was like, holy crap, I held that guitar. I wish I could go back and tell me that
That's so cool.
30 years ago.
Yeah. Wow. Jeff Hanneman passed away from, did he have some kind of he was bit by a spider or something, wasn't he? Do you know this story?
Yeah. It's like they had that. Yeah, he was. I think he got it in a hot tub, and yeah, he was. It was a spider bite, and it's this kind of sounds like a horror movie, like it's flesh-eating bacteria.
Yeah.
Something necrosis. I forget the medical name for it, but yeah, I mean, that really just pummeled him, and he had a lot of other health issues that were going on at the time, but that was kind of the beginning of the end for him. And it was just about 10 years ago, was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, that was too soon.
Oh, way too soon. That reminds me actually of you and I 3 years ago had a little exchange. You'd put a picture up on social media of a spider that was on the bottom of your chair, I think, on your deck. And do you remember that?
Was that the Black Widow?
Yeah, and I made a comment saying, well, there goes my visit to your, I will never, ever, expose myself to that. That was crazy. That was on the bottom of your chair?
It was. And, the crazier thing is that by then I'd already been bitten in the face by a scorpion.
Oh,
so
what?
It's like a Black Widow. But by that, like when you've had that happen, like a Black Widow on your chair is kind of small potatoes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Where did the scorpion thing happen? In SoCal?
Yeah. I was leaving the pool, and it felt like someone stuck a cattle prod right in my face. I didn't know what happened. I pulled the towel away, and I saw this scorpion like leering at me.
Oh my God.
Which, yeah. And what I figured out later was that I didn't get the scorpion at the pool. He was in my towel.
Oh, Jesus. Wow. That's terrifying, Joe. But I guess to your point after that, I mean, spiders are no big deal, really.
Yeah. Yeah, make him a cup of tea. Have a seat, buddy.
All right, next on your list here. Now, I don't know what this is. I've never heard of this. Is it agaloke?
Oh yeah, that's a tough one.
Agaloke. I've never heard of this band.
Yeah. They're from up in Portland. I was gonna say up in Portland, down to you, but they're like I enjoy black metal.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of it, but a lot of it. And I find that, I like, black metal as more than just kind of like a lo-fi, just like, just an angry, fast kind of like, underproduced speed metal.
Mm-hmm.
And so this band, they really, they had done a couple more acoustically focused albums before this. This was their third, and it mixes black metal with like folk and psychedelic and a little bit of death metal.
Wow.
It was the first time really where I could understand that black metal could have hooks and have kind of almost spiritual undertones to it.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's like kind of like, it's like Pink Floyd meets Mayhem. And this is, I think, this is my favorite album of theirs. I think it's a flawless album, and it's part of the 3-song suite that ends it. And it's just, it's got so many highs and lows, and it's emotional, and it's it's a gorgeous song.
The song is called Bloodbirds.
Bloodbirds, yeah.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, I mean it's if someone is not a fan of metal, this probably isn't the entrance point. But if you've got a little appetite for some of the heavier stuff, I mean, this is a really interesting and innovative take. And, today it's funny, like a lot of black metal, the American black metal comes from the Northwest, Pacific Northwest, which makes sense because, it's woodsy and it's dark and it's grim and it's bleak and all those things that make great metal. But I think these guys are probably they're probably the foremost American black metal band. At least Wolves in the Throne Room and Abigail Williams are both other bands that kind of do this. But Agalloch was kind of the pioneers here.
I am going to check this out. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're
welcome.
Well, Joe, that is your list, my friend. Thank you so much.
Brent, thank you. I've really enjoyed this, and as you said, long time coming.
I hate to knock it down to 5 from 10. You are definitely welcome to come back on with 5 more. I know it's impossible to just come up with 5. So,
well, I always relish the challenge.
Wasn't that fun? Wasn't that fun though? Like coming up with these, it's like half the fun.
It was great. Yeah. It's agonized, sweet agony.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
All right, Joe. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed the chat, man. I appreciate it.
As did I, Brent. Thanks a bunch.
All right.
Take care.
You too. Take good care. All right, this has been No Sleep Till Sudbury with Brent Jensen and my very special guest, Mr. Joe Daly. Till next time, folks, take good care.
Brent Jensen is the best-selling author of No Sleep Till Sudbury, Leftover People, and All My Favorite People Are Broken. All titles available in stores and on Amazon worldwide.